You got me running, got me running. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Forex Trading Asia currency call. Yep, happy Tuesday, everyone. So this is the currency call where you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. So this currency analysis, this currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. Here we will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Okay, so the immediate thing here, the Boj Outlook Report is slated to be released any moment now. So we have Kim Hong here, currency analyst at LCMS Traders, to share his views about the Outlook Report. Kim Hong.
All right, thanks a lot, Junwei. Yep, the BOJ will be announcing their monetary policy decision anytime right now. Okay, so in the previous report, Outlook report released back in January, the BOJ actually revised its economic growth forecast, okay, for this year from 3.6% to 3.9%. Okay, but remember, this was actually based on a lower number of COVID cases during the end of 2020. All right, so I can show you this chart. Okay, so as you can see here, the number of cases back in 2020, December 2020, late 2020s, is actually like an average of 2 to 3,000, or maybe even 4,000. But then there was a spike in early January this year, right? So the previous monetary policy report was actually based on previous data. So we can see that recently in April, there's a spike in the number of cases, okay, due to the third wave of the pandemic. Now, the BOJ will be releasing a new set of economic reports during this meeting. So the main key point to take note of will be any new revisions to the growth forecast by the central bank. Okay, no doubt that the central bank will be holding interest rate unchanged at negative 0.1%, and chances are the QE is going to stay the same. But due to the recent third wave that actually led to, if I'm not wrong, 4 prefectures in Japan declaring state of emergency from last Sunday, and it will last all the way until 11th of May, okay, there is a chance that the Bank of Japan will be revising its monetary policy easing, right? So they may actually carry out more quantitative easing or actually make amendments to come up with new packages to help the economy and so on. So yeah, it will be released anytime soon now. If there's any major changes, I will update you guys again tomorrow. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Kim Hong. Now let's get Scott here, Scott Andrews from Forex Briefcase, Australia, to share his outlook on the dollar index. Scott.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for the analysis, Jim Hong, as well. So we've got US dollar here. I'll just bring the screen in now. Look, there's equity markets were a little bit higher as well last night, and we actually saw the US dollar sort of consolidate. It has moved higher early in today's trading session as well, nearly tested 91. So look, I'm going to stand by and watch things here. As I've mentioned before, the Asian trading session, like we're in now, leading into the European session, is typically a little slower. it's sort of on the 4-hour time frame, it is slowly starting to turn over here as well. So what I'll do is I'll just go down to the 1 hour just to get a bit of an intraday feel for the situation. And we've got upcoming news, obviously, tomorrow with the Fed rate decision and then the press conference as well. So the language there's going to be quite key to focus on as well. Obviously, for us traders in this time zone, it's very late in the evening or early in the morning on Thursday morning. So we're just going to pay attention to what it does here. I mean, we could see the US dollar come a little bit high potentially, but right now it seems to be really consolidating. And it's just waiting on, I guess, a push from, Jerome Powell and what he's going to say in regards to, what the market looks like it's doing with equities is that it's sort of shrugged off that inflation fear thing. And typically what we'll probably see is like we've seen when it rallied in 2020, the equity market, we saw an inverse relationship with the US dollar, and that really went quite loaded to the 88s or so. Like if we go to the weekly time frame to get a real nice perspective on it, it really got heavily sold off when the equity market was rallying. But we'll see. Bond yields slightly picked up a little bit, but then rejected as it hit 1.58%, and it's down a little bit again. So we'll just wait and see what equity markets want to do. But honestly, as I've said before, we'd be looking for selling opportunities, but we just want to wait to see what it does today. And then tonight we'll, likely, have a sell opportunity potentially if we see the right price action. But currently, just sitting and waiting and letting the price action tell the story here.
Okay, thank you for that, Scott, on the dollar index. So let's get with the currency in focus today, which is the euro. So today we are with Jin Dao Tai, founder of LCMS Traders, and also an international speaker where he speaks in countries like Hong Kong, UK, US, Australia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and here in Singapore, sharing his views about the FX market. So Jin, let's get you on for the currency focus, euro.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So, currency in focus is the euro dollar, but I still have one eye cast on the Bank of Japan's report. So, if any time I sound super distracted, that's probably because the report gets released and markets are probably moving. But with that said, let's look at what could move the euro dollar at this point. Not that, because that's the Bank of Japan news. All right, so again, on Forex Trading Asia, looking at the economic calendar here. Today is Tuesday. Not a lot of news happening for the euro dollar. We have the Bank of Japan rates coming out and press conference, all that Kim Hong spoke about already. We have the US consumer confidence numbers coming out at 10 o'clock tonight. Was 109.7, expected a 113. So we're looking at some very good numbers coming from the US in terms of consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is going to be one of the economic data that you're going to pay attention to, because it translates into whether people are going to be spending more. If they're spending more, then we're going to see more activity or more investments into the economy. And with that, we're going to see better economic numbers in the medium to longer term. But it's not just one number that we need to pay attention to. On Wednesday, we don't have too much happening, but look at Thursday morning, we have the Fed interest rate decision, the press conference, and the statement, FOMC statement coming out. With that, pay attention to whether they're going to talk about further stimulus or whether they're going to talk about possibly increasing rates based on the CPI numbers and also GDP. Why I say GDP is because on Thursday night, we have the US GDP quarter on quarter was 4.3%, expected a 6.1. But this good GDP number coming from the US is somewhat expected, driven because of the stimulus paychecks everyone has been getting. There's going to be more spending, there's going to be more investments into the market. So the GDP number is expected to be quite positive. So what this means is we might actually see it being priced in a little bit. Be careful of that. So don't look at just a 6.1 or even a 7% and think that the US dollar is going to strengthen significantly. We might actually see this as a bit of a priced in scenario. And then on Friday, not a lot of news again that could drive prices. We have German GDP. We have some GDP numbers and CPI numbers coming from the Eurozone, but individual countries do not drive the euro dollar too much. We want to look at the Eurozone as a whole. So that's the CPI number was 1.3, expected 1.6 on a year-on-year. GDP on the Eurozone probably going to be quite a similar number, a similar print from previous at minus 4.9%. So with all that put together, what this translates to in the charts is looking at the euro dollar on the H4 time frame. The last time we spoke about it, I said that if it was going to break up above 1.2053, we could see it come very close to the 1.2145 level. It did that very late last week. Now it's come back into that 1.2053 support level. At this point, with the lack of much news coming from the Eurozone, with some US numbers in terms of consumer confidence and also the FOMC being released on Thursday morning, we could actually be seeing the euro dollar sitting at this support level, maybe for an extended period of time. So it's going to come back down. It's going to test this 1.2053 level for extended period of time before possibly bouncing back up again. I still do think that we're going to see that upward move back towards 1.2145. So we're looking at that coming down, test that support before bouncing back up again. If in the scenario we do see the euro dollar dropping below 1.2053, further even towards 1.1920, I wouldn't be very cautious with looking to sell it down. I would, on the euro dollar, be looking for buying opportunities in this case because of that trend, which has been climbing since 1, 2, 3, almost 4 weeks ago. It's been on an upward move. So be very cautious if you're looking to sell it back down. All right, with that said, I'm going to do a quick check on the news. Bank of Japan has not released a statement yet, so you're still safe. We can still continue on. Traders Club members, we have gone through the likelihood of what could happen last night on the Bank of Japan. Bear that in mind, be ready to take opportunity when it presents, but I'll probably, someone else will talk more about that as we get along.
Okay, thank you, Jin, for the currency focus analysis. So right now, let's get Daniel in, Daniel, trading coach at LCMS Traders, to share a little bit about the Traders Club. So yeah, Daniel, I understand that yesterday night was one of your webinar support session for the club members. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yes, yeah. So yes, we had a great group coaching session yesterday. Jin had really good sessions with the members. We had a brief one-to-one session with at least 5 members together. Everybody's looking at it. Jin, look at how the members interact together, how the members look at the individual currency pairs and adjusted their analysis and looking what should be looking out for. For example, here, Jin actually identified a potential trade idea was the US yen. Now, and when the US yen trade pairs, we could see that the price is moving, and if it moves, we were looking at it as if it moves above 108, we could, and if the BOJ comes out in action. Of course, Kim Hong has just talked about a lot of analysis about the COVID impact, and a few other information. And the Bank of Japan, now we are waiting for comes out an action to improve or to support the economy, so on and so forth. We could see a further breakout and a buying opportunity here from 108 all the way to possibility 109 or 109.2. Yeah. So this is just one of the few information and identifying the possible trade ideas. Then he also identified Euro Yen and US CAD, and due to the volatility, he was looking at whether or not, this is a moving across, there's high risk. Some of the members were looking to buy, and we were saying that if you look to buy, how do you minimize your risk? Identify the potential risk, minimize it, and only enter upon maybe breaking above 130.87, for example, and pushing higher up. Else, you probably will not take any trade at all. Now, in summary, during the group sessions, Jin really refined the way he analyzed the market. The members here analyze the market, then learn how to identify trade opportunities and also minimize the potential risk in the market. So, if you are not already a Traders Club member, it's really a session where everybody should join here. Now, just to let you know, what he just did was a really brief insight of what is installed on the 7th of May masterclass with Jin. Correct? So with this, in this masterclass, okay, in this masterclass here, we will really help students to achieve mastery over by focusing on executing the strategy and the right way towards profitability and consistency. Right? We will also share how we analyze the trade, analyze faster, better, and more efficient to prepare ourselves to predict the market. Now, if you look at it, so what we will have to do is we'll have you establish well-defined specific goals, break down your tasks, double down, practice the right way, and you receive the feedback from a master. How do you receive feedback, master? For live participants at the event in Singapore, you will get a one-to-one with Jin. He will deep dive into trading issues you have, which is holding you back from having the next trading breakthrough. Follow up with developing a plan specially for you to take your trading to the next level. Now, as the live event has a limited participant of 40 slots, and already more than 3/4 has been filled up, we need you. We need you to sign up to secure your slots right now. Now, for those overseas, don't worry, you can join too. You can join the live sessions on the live screen sessions of the Zoom and participate the same activity as the live participants. A coach will be dedicated to the Zoom sessions for you to answer your questions and facilitate the training that you will not miss out at all. Now, how much will this cost? It's really only $100 USD. This kind of sessions, if you have to achieve mastery and to have a one-to-one session with Jin, will definitely cost more than $100 a day. So the seats are filling really very fast. I would suggest that you please join now. You definitely need to join this master course here to improve and master the analysis in trading. Okay, so yeah, Jin.
Hey, yeah, Daniel. So yesterday night I was in the session too. I think Scott was in the session too. And if I'm not wrong, Jin actually picked out 6 or 7 students of his and get them to analyze each of the charts. So, hey, Scott, you want to share a little bit about how did that go? Did you, just share a little bit about how did that go?
Look, essentially what happened was he flipped the roles a little bit. So, obviously Jin is the teacher, but I guess he got us to provide some analysis on particular currency pairs. So myself, I focused on the USD yen. I'm just checking in on that now currently. And it was an in-depth, I guess, perspective of exactly what to look for when you're looking at a chart in regards to developing a trade idea. And obviously there's 5 steps that you need to pay attention to. And what I would say is, you really want to focus on the process. So a lot of people, when they start trading, they look to be very busy and they want to think about making as many trades as they can. But I think what's really important is to focus on high quality setups and to really treat things in probability terms. So just because you have a couple of small losing trades, don't really start flipping around strategies. Really focus on what you're doing, execute that, and then move on either way, if it's a winner or a loser. So especially on the USD yen, I thought it was quite, interesting in regards to the thesis on the trade as well. So a lot of people are looking to sell this, but it's going to be interesting to see what comes out for a potential buy trade on this. So everyone listening is getting some, you did. It was challenging, but it's always good to think the other side of the trade. So I don't want to go too long, but another thing to look at, guys, is the open ratio positions. So let's say a lot of people, for example, a lot of people are really long silver, but what happens, a lot of retail traders lose. So I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but pay attention to that, because a lot of people are short the USD yen. What happens is there's a lot of accumulation of stop losses. So if we get anything that's a hint of positive out of the BOJ in regards to, what Canada did recently, you really could see a real nice breakout, real nice risk to reward ratio as well. So we sort of deep dove into, a whole picture of what's really going on with the USD yen essentially.
Wow, thank you, Scott, for sharing. So it's just, I believe it's just an hour session that you had yesterday with Jin, and imagine spending the whole day with him in the masterclass. I think that would definitely benefit your trading by leaps and bounds. Yeah, so that's the end of the session today that we have. I believe everybody's anxious to get into the BOJ report, keeping track of whether it's going to release anytime now. So I'm not going to hold you guys up. Just going to share a few links, the Forex Trading Asia Telegram Signal Group, LCMS Traders YouTube channel, the Traders Club link, and if you're looking for a managed account, check out forexbriefcase.com. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for the pound analysis. Thank you so much. Bye.